Hi folks, it is time for another newsletter. This one's going to be a real quick one. This is a board that I just made. I've got a sign that I've got to do for a customer, and this was a shape that he liked. And what I did was I laminated a board. I actually used redwood 2x4s and finished them down, and then glued up this board. So it's going to be a pretty nice looking sign. But this one created kind of a problem that I wanted to share with you guys. Normally, you know our patterns. This is the pattern that I used to cut that out, by the way. And normally, you know, we put these patterns from the back and we put screws through them. And that's how the pattern stays in place as you route around. And you've seen Dad do that on several different things. That's how we cut our shapes. However, this particular sign, they wanted it two-sided. I've got to carve it on both sides. So then I had two choices. Either somehow I had to put the pattern on the board without the screws, or with the screws and then plane it down, and I didn't want to do that. So I want to show you a way that you can use patterns, and not necessarily if it's got to be a two-sided sign. You don't have to put the screws in there. You may have a way to do it already, but I'm just going to show you how I do it, and it works out pretty well. I think later on, pretty soon, I'm going to show you how we laminate those boards up. But in the meantime, you can go on our Facebook page, and Jimmy Huddleston makes phenomenal furniture, especially custom beds and furniture that has to do with that. So if you go on Dave Signs, which it'll be in the description on this, if you go on Dave Signs' Facebook page, our woodworking group, Jimmy Huddleston does some amazing stuff. But I kind of used his idea for laminating those boards together, and I think you can probably get a video from him, but I think I'll do one later on. But in the meantime, so what we want to do is, you know, this is our ribbon shaped board, our big ribbon, and I want to make a two-sided sign, and I'm using my thin material, and so I don't want to put screws in one side. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take these screws out, use the same pattern, and get these screws out of here, and then I'll put it on the board and show you a product that I use that works really, really well. So both sides of this sign, I only surfaced one side. This is just for, you know, demonstration purposes. But what I'm going to do is, this is stuff that I got at, I think at Home Depot. This is a two-sided tape. But this is not your standard two-sided tape. This stuff is made for exterior. It's made for outside. Works phenomenal. I've been using it for years, but I don't think we've ever actually showed it on video. So what I'm going to do is I'm just literally going to put a few tabs of this stuff down. And this stuff holds really, really well. It's not cheap, but you know, it will work really well for you. Now, what I want to do is to make sure this thing stays down. I can press those down, which will kind of stick those. Now I got to peel that red stuff off there without my glasses on. It's a little bit difficult. Come on. Yep, I'm going to stick my glasses on, otherwise we'll be here all night. Everything all right behind the camera, Dad?
So far it's fine.
Okay. Now I've had stuff that actually literally a lot of installations where I've used this red stuff, and I think it's made by 3M. But again, I think I just got it at Home Depot, but it's really, really good stuff. I've had stuff that's been up on the wall that's been there for years and years and years on stucco and brick that has never come off. So there I've got those exposed. Now what I want to do, I want to make absolutely sure that this is stuck really, really well. So what I'll do is I'll just use my little clamp here, and I'll just make absolutely sure that those are stuck well. So I'll just kind of screw that down And once that stuff is compressed and stuck on there, man, it's good. I've never had it fail yet. So, and that's how I made that sign that I was just showing you. How I cut that out is literally I had maybe 6 or 8 tabs all the way around on that big pattern that I just showed you. And I cut clear through that 2-inch material, and it never budged. It never moved a lick, nothing. So it works really, really well. So this really would be enough. You could put a couple more in here, but again, just for demonstration purposes. But that stuff, that I could cut that right now, and I wouldn't have to worry about it at all. That way, I don't have to worry about screw holes on the back side. Many of you that have seen our videos know that we normally have the screws through here, and we tap it down, and we're cutting from the back, and screw holes in the back of the sign, no big deal. But if you got to make a 2-sided sign and you don't want to put 2 of them back to back, this is a great way to go. You can just use this stuff. And again, you know, I wish I had I've had this for probably 2 or 3 years, so it lasts a long time. But it's phenomenal. It's the best 2-sided tape that I've ever found. I think it's a 3M product, but don't quote me on that. But just look for that red on the outside, and then it's has kind of a gray color on the inside. But it's phenomenal stuff. And so now we would just take like we normally do, take our hand router, and we would cut that shape. And that's exactly what I did with this big one. And you can imagine what kind of torque was going on that when I was cutting material that thick. So it holds really, really well. So I just wanted to share that with you. We got, I think Dad's going to do the next video. What am I forgetting, Dad? Anything?
You might tell them on that 2-inch thick material not to try to take that one cut.
Oh yeah, good point. Yeah, well you couldn't with, you know, unless you had a long cutter. This actually, I cut this in 3 passes. So I went 1/3 through, and then the 2nd third, and then the 3rd, you know, in 3 passes. So again, take your time on it, and as long as your pattern is in good shape, in place. And again, if this was a 1-sided sign, I would use screws. But since it's 2-sided, that's the reason I use the adhesive. But yeah, when you've got thick material like this, don't try to take it in 1 pass. And if you're using the cutters you get from us, you wouldn't be able to anyway. It would just burn because you've only got 3/4 of an inch of flute length. So you take about a 1/2 inch. This is about 1.5 inches net, 1/2 inch at a time, and then it's going to be nice, easy cut all the way around. And do that, and then just take it down a little bit further. You may even have to pull the router bit out of the collet a little bit in order to give you enough length. But yeah, definitely take it in multiple passes. Thank you for reminding me on that, Dad. I was going to try and remember, but I forgot. So good thing your memory is there. All right. Anything else, Dad?
No.
No, I think that's...
How do they get that, once they got that cut, how do they get the pattern off of the board?
All I did was just use a screwdriver and pop it off. I might be able to pull it off with my fingers. No, see, I can't even pull that thing off of there. I used a little wood chisel or a screwdriver or a good stiff putty knife, and they'll pop right off, and that stuff just peels right off. In fact, I could, if I had my screwdriver here, I'd do it for you. You want to hand me? I'll have your screwdriver. A slotted screwdriver from over there. I used one this morning when I cut that off. You can see we prepared real well. Good thing you guys, yeah, see, it just pops right off. And then this stuff just peels right off, just like that. Pretty much. Actually,
good job.
and that's all there is to it. So anyway, that's a way to go if you guys have to do a 2-sided sign, especially if you're on thin material and you're not set up with a big planer. If you got a big planer and you can just plane off those holes on the back side and you've got enough thickness on your board, great. But you know, using this adhesive works better for me. Okay, go on Facebook and check out Jimmy Huddleston's custom beds. Man, he does amazing stuff. And we'll be back at you soon with another video. Thanks, guys.